What you see here is Rising Generals. This is the new game from InnoGames, and in Rising Generals, the player will start into the game with his main base. The main base is kind of like a safe home, which can't be conquered by other players, and the player will aim for conquering all the other outposts which are around and competing for them with his enemies. Like what you see here is the player has this little blue spot, and the enemies are here in red with neutral outpost sites around him. This would represent a server in a really early stage where the players just started. We have here one enemy who already has 2 further outposts. There's one with only 1, and us with no outpost at all. But we will change that. Just to give you an overview, we have a really big island here, kind of a continent, which is divided into several regions, and each region is divided into districts. And the player's goal is to get ownership of those. In the main base, the player has a couple of facilities. This is where he can produce components. Components are necessary for building new units, which he then needs in battle. You see it here visualized that the production is ongoing. There's somebody working inside, and there are a couple more rooms, for example here for fuel production. And also there are the barracks, where I, and in my case here, will now produce a couple more tanks. We have kind of around 20 units, which are in the progress of the game made available to the player due to research, and those units are then specialized for example to fight against other units. Their helicopters are in most of the cases very efficient against tanks, and some helicopters are even more efficient. So I will here just build 14 or 28 tanks. And what happens, and what's the big difference to other games, is that I have the tanks right now. The production ran through, and now a cooldown is running. So especially when I would play the game mobile on a train or somewhere, I could go into the game, I could produce my units, and I could start the fight. And also the result of the fight will get visualized and happen in an instance. And this makes it really the perfect game for the mobile platform. Also down here we have some more information about how many troops we have in our account overall. So we have to pay for them. If we don't pay them, they will leave us. We have very interesting and kind of giving a nice tone to the game are the officers, which are providing you with advices. In effect, they are, for example, this officer is improving the efficiency of your tanks in battle. We have also guys who improving your capacities in production, and for example, guys who help you spying, because spying is very important for us. For research, we have a big research tree where you can get all further units you will have in the game. I will just show you how to start research. Now the research is running. If we use some items on this, we can reduce cooldowns here and have the new units available directly. And you see in the progression through the tree, you have even more units now to research. When I go out of my main base, I will first check here what this neutral outpost is doing, or maybe it would be even interesting to aim for this enemy here. I send one of my spies to my enemy. There's a risk of getting captures of 50%, but I will just give it a try because I have 5 spies available. I will give him the stealth suit to even increase his chances, and I see it's successful. When I now look into the outpost, I can see that the player already upgraded some of his facilities, which makes him an even better person or guy who I can then conquer next, because then I already have his upgrades for me myself. I need to wait until the cooldown finishes. Those are production cooldowns here. Those are the cooldowns for the spies, which are very short. To show it to you better in real game time, it will take a little longer. So I wait 20 more seconds, and then I can do a second infiltration, the army infiltration, where the spy finds himself into the barracks of the enemy, and you then see exactly how many troops he has there. Those could be quite a lot, but we also have already a decent army in our main base. So now it happens, and it failed.
So, not to worry. What would happen if it succeeded?
If it would succeed, we would now see which kind of units the player has there station. But I would just I will now just send my army there, and then we will see what he has.
Okay.
So
rolling some dice now.
Yeah. In any case, I will capture this outpost, because as we have access to our servers, I have a big army here.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
So I take all of them, which costs me a lot of fuel, and send them over there. And I hope, I see, we are kind of have the same amount there. You see battle of the air battle first. The enemy has some jets fighting against my jets. We have some bombers to demoralize our enemy. And afterwards, the enemy will take some preparation with mine layers to prepare the battle. And now directly all the helicopters, tanks and units start to fight. The fight here is a simulation which reflects in detail which kind of units on which side take part in the battle. For us, we think that it's really nice for the player to see what happens there.
It's a huge battle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we can assume that the player will take some time to get that far. We start with 3 basic unit types, like an armored vehicle, a light tank, and an attack helicopter. And then you will, by progressing through the game and conquering new outposts and doing the research, you will get all the different types of troops with different weapons. And then you will finally be able to see battles like this. No, if it takes very long, we speed it up, but we got defeated again.
So we've seen resource creation and battles. So what's the overall community goal, I suppose? Like, there was mentioned that there were it's got an island structure.
Yeah.
So is it going to be factions within an island, or how does it work essentially?
Exactly. What you see here as an example is when you see this region has one battle group owning it. You see the battle group flags. You see here the flags. Who is owning the district? Who has the ownership there? Currently, we don't have so many people on the server, so we kind of put it just in there for you to see. When you come to a point where your battle group is owning the whole territory, then you are the boss there. Like you are having the supremacy over all other players, and this is kind of what we want the players to achieve in the end. The players should kind of go for with his battle group, grow his battle group, and own as much of this continent as possible.
This is Peter with AppSpy.com. We review, you decide.